Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
You can't let him run for a little bit.
What's your pick tonight? This song?
Oh, yeah, this is our song all the time.
Oh, I don't know.
Why are you laughing? We haven't even said pirates yet.
Oh, my God. I was looking. Okay. Oh, hi, guys. And I'll tell you about pirates because I had a pirate situation, two, while we were on hiatus, by the way. Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome. AfterBuzz, Bar Rescue, Season 4. And why am I like a airplane director?
Oh, because you have a full cabin.
That is very true. I do have a full cabin. I love it. Season 4, Episode 1, Bug Bite. Okay, really gross episode, by the way, but still not as gross as the Roach Coach.
Yeah, no, my guy. Still the grossest.
Still the grossest.
Doesn't talk to the superlatives.
Well, I heard this season is going to be so much more disgusting. He said on Tapper Talk last night, he's like, you think this was bad? Wait till you see how crazy it gets.
By the way, we love that.
Yes, because I can't wait. I just can't. It's, guys, so great to be back. I missed y'all.
Yes.
Missed you all. I was actually on this little hiatus, went to Annapolis for a wedding, and we tried to go to the Pirate Bar because it's only 30 minutes away, and it was closed when we tried to go. But it was during the day. It's during the day because we had to go to the wedding. We had to get
but
there.
By the way, in all fairness, you can't play pirate during day.
Exactly.
You have to play pirate at night.
Exactly.
Right?
But in Annapolis, in the Chesapeake Bay, they have a pirate ship that you can go on, a little thing, and it was Pirate Day. Do you know they have such a thing called Pirate Day?
No.
Well, I'm wondering if that's why the bar was closed, because they were off work celebrating Pirate Day.
It's crazy.
That's
but
why.
Yeah. It was awesome.
By the way, which again just shows why, how special they are, because on Pirate Day should be the day they're open.
Exactly.
No, they're all off playing pirate on Pirate Day. Oh my God.
And number 2, talking about pirates, I was out with a bunch of my friends, and this one girl, we were talking, I was so excited because we were going to go to the Pirate Bar because we were in Annapolis, and this girl from Maryland goes, I've been there. I said, you have?
And we need recon.
She said it was amazing. She loved it. She went in, and they were all feeding her drinks. Of course they're going to feed her drinks. She's a cute girl. They stayed until after, closing time. Because they're pirates, they can do whatever they want.
Why did she go though? Because of Bar Rescue or just by accident?
No, just by accident. She didn't even know that it was on Bar Rescue. She didn't know anything about it. And so I said the pirate. She goes, "Oh, you mean the one in Silver Springs?" I was like, "Yes, that one." And she goes, "It was amazing. She loved it." She said everybody was so nice there.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah, that I believe, because listen, we liked them. Even the interview we did with her back in the day was great. Great people,
Not just
great
delusional.
fun. Yeah, you want to be a pirate or send your daughter to college. I want to be a pirate.
I want to be a pirate.
But on to this episode. Well, guys, all of us being from the East Coast, and they were in Huntington, Long Island.
I just want to point out really
Huntington
quick
Beach.
that it took us 2 minutes in this season before we mentioned the Pirate Bar.
No, it wasn't even 2 minutes.
It wasn't even. We went right into it.
It could be the record.
I think it
might be the record.
It could be the record. Wait, by the way, we should introduce. We have some new people on the panel.
I am so new. Yes, and I'm so sorry. I'm so excited. So, Miss Ashley Daniels.
Hello, everyone. I'm not just a Real Housewives fanatic. There's other things I like.
Right.
Bar rescue.
And guess who is going to be with us most of the season? Am I correct?
I think so. I'm so excited.
Miss Mia, tall Mia.
Tell me is back.
Mia, Bar Rescue regular.
And Kevin Undergaro, everybody. And I am Dorinda Barker.
And on the couch, we have...
Steven!
I don't
Steven
matter.
Lemieux.
Steven
And
Lemieux.
yes,
You
you
matter.
do,
Yes, you
Steven.
do.
Steven, everyone will know Steven. And a lot of times he runs the show for us.
Right.
He'll
And-
run the booth. And so whenever you hear some voice out of the booth, normally it's Steven, especially running this show.
Whenever there's a mistake and I get called out, that's me. I'm the one getting called
but
up.
I'll tell you the significance, Stephen, of you being here is that, part of your growth at AfterBuzz is related to your watching Bar Rescue, which Phil makes you guys all watch that show.
Yeah.
And haven't you noticed the growth? And he's always giving you analogies and, different examples of what goes on the show, and you're able to see that here. And you've grown up to another fine young man, and so in a strange way, another Taffer success story in Stephen Lemieux.
And we actually, right now in the booth, we have our new guy, Josh Richmond. Shout
hello.
out, Josh.
Hi,
And
Josh.
he's just like a young me. He had his first time walking in front of camera yesterday.
Oh no!
So he's just like me.
Thanks for calling me out.
Okay, but Josh, do you watch Bar Rescue yet?
Never seen the show. I've never seen the
Okay.
show.
All right. So Josh, by next week, I want you to watch this week's, and then from here on in, you're going to be watching them. Okay? Because usually Phil's he's out of town for 2 weeks.
It's like a mandatory thing
It is,
here.
and it will make you'll have such a positive impact on your life in terms of how you view life, how you do business. It's so far beyond bars, and you'll be highly entertained.
You might chuckle
Alrighty.
now,
True
but that's a true story.
Seriously.
True story.
And we will weigh in with you next week too.
Okay, I will be ready.
Good man.
Okay, good. And it's mandatory that you watch the Pirates episode. No, seriously,
Yes.
you have to because we
reference it far too
reference
much
it.
for you not to know
yeah,
about Pirates.
exactly.
Why don't we give them 3? Pirates, Cockroach.
Oh, cockroach.
What about bring a horse
Hold
to a
on.
bar?
Making a list.
That one makes me cry.
Right,
that one,
but to
a
balance,
horse in a bar.
but to balance it
Yeah.
off, right? So you see the heart of Taffer
Yeah.
is the horse in a bar.
Yeah, horse
Anyway.
walks into a bar. That one, honestly, if it doesn't make you tear up, you are not a human being.
Right. Agreed.
Wow, that's a serious endorsement.
Agreed. No, agreed.
Oh my god. So okay, we're jumping back to Huntington Beach, Long Island. Near
Long
where I
Island.
grew up in Jersey. I did the shore, but I did go to Long Island a couple of times.
Do you say coffee?
Very affluent. $110,000.
Yes.
You see, $110,000 a year is the median income.
Double what the
Crazy.
average is. Yeah, you're right, because you're right there. You're right near. You jump onto the LIR. I think it's the LIR. That is the metro there, or the train. Now I'm so used to saying metro because I live in LA, and you go right into the city. So a lot of people go there, to get out of the city to live, and then boom into the city to work. So that's good old Long Island. I mean, oh, wait a second. Are all y'all from?
I'm from Boston.
I'm from Boston.
Boston.
You're from Boston?
Yes, we've discussed
Boston.
this. We've
Oh,
discussed
I'm so brain dead.
Milford.
It's
Where?
Milford.
Oh, that's why I don't remember because I don't really know where that is. I'm like, when you go on Riviera, I'm like, what?
You're a Southern girl, right?
no. My mama is my Kentucky, and so if you ever hear certain little things, my mom
I
still
hear
has
it,
her
yeah.
Southern accent. But I grew up Jersey.
That's
I'm
right,
a Jersey girl,
and
but-
I always want to say 17 years bartending experience.
Exactly.
And of course, Mia is just one of the best literally in the
Yes.
country. One of the best bartenders
That's so cool.
in the country.
Yes. And we'll get into let's talk about the
Yeah, we
let's
have
talk
to.
about the episode. We have to get into it. We go 45 minutes. We haven't said one thing about the episode. So now our owner is Mike Conforti. He owns the Artful Dodger. He is $150,000 in debt. Now, for first 5 years, the bar was making a profit.
Yeah, 50,000, right? Every.
Every month.
Every month he was making, and that's
I mean, pretty
600,000.
good.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if you're not like a Vegas bar or an LA bar, like that sounds pretty.
Yeah, and then
darn
for a
good.
place like that, yeah, that's great. It's actually pretty good. 600,000 a year, and the place wasn't huge. It wasn't like a
Right.
really huge place. For what it was making is pretty fantastic, which leads me to believe if he went into $150,000 in debt, he did not manage his money very well, and that's probably another episode of MSN or something. But he went $150,000 in debt. never did anything to that bar. Because when you looked at that bar, so basically he was one of these owners, and I'm just going to say it, who thought he was just going to keep on making the money without having to do anything, with no upkeep or anything, and which makes me upset. And anybody who knows the business, the bar business, and you understand this, and Kevin, we all understand a business doesn't just keep going on its own. You have to do things to get it to keep going and still make it prosperous, and he just was ignorant in his own way. I hate using that word, but he was. He really was. So then he hires Brian, the promoter. He hires Brian. So Brian's great idea was to have an 18 and over night.
Not a great idea.
Yes, that was
although I love
meant
those nights.
sarcastic.
So do I.
That sounds awesome.
Do you remember Taboo song? I was like first at the door every time.
Yeah, we loved it, but then of course to John, like, okay, idiot.
It's the worst thing in the world. I know Club Abyss in Sayreville had it.
Did you guys know fiscally though, Dorinda and Mia? Did you guys know that it was it's just a bad idea? The bar business overall.
Overall, I
There's
mean,
just so much liability when you allow underage patrons into a bar. Like, I mean, that whole test with the girl with
23-year-old
the X's on her hand. I mean, that's the liability right there.
and that's the whole thing. Their insurance had to go up too. Whenever you put more cause into something happening, you're in liability on you, your insurance goes up. I can't understand why he would think that was a great idea.
It honestly, it baffles me in the first place to think that they'd even come up with that as a good idea. It's like, it sounds like the owners were probably just trying to get laid. Because when you look at it, it's like you look at it, and how are you going to make a profit on that?
Right.
Like, how are people going to go into this bar? Like, what are people going to buy? 18-year-olds don't bring their 21-year-old friends.
Can I tell you my thought is that he was they were out of cards. Every bar, there was a lot of bars in that facility. Yeah. They couldn't compete with them, so they said, we'll provide an alternative. And I'm sure they were hoping that, okay, maybe we'll get 21 to 25-year-old males who will be dirtbags, think, I got a shot with an 18-year-old.
Right.
It was just a last-ditch effort, battle of the bulge, so to speak, which obviously was a total fail.
Exactly. And so now everything is going to,
Can I mention one thing?
To the pooper.
I question about something. So when they brought the promoter in, and he came up with Radio, correct? The name Radio.
Oh yeah. So the Artful Dodger then becomes Radio, but they never changed the name to Radio. So Radio could have been down the streets, or Radio could have. Nobody knew what Radio.
Either.
So it's almost like, what is Radio? It never was. It was always the Artful Dodger, but in his head it was Radio. Because you can't have, even if you would have put one of those stupid plastic vinyl banners outside, something to say, we're now Radio.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna change the name to certain, I'm going down another thing of like business, and you're changing the name. I just think
when you stop trying, which is you're sitting at the bar,
and drinking.
We've seen this on so many episodes. You stop trying. I mean, half the battle is trying. And he clearly wasn't. So just to say, okay, let's call it Radio, and let's bring in 18-year-olds.
You're like,
and sit at the bar and drink, and
and not look at his problems,
and go deeper away from
which we see so much on this episode. Not this episode, but in general. In general.
And by the way, once again, why I think this is such a metaphor for life, this show, is I see this in so many people's lives, where things are bad, and they just need to confront the issues of their lives, and they don't, and they drink it away, or they just find these little ways to escape, and they get deeper and deeper and deeper in, to the point it's too late.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
but it's interesting, not even just with this show, but you notice in general when there are situations where the owners or the management they just stop caring. It's almost like the employees, although they're not making half as much as the owners, just start to manage the situation
Right.
so much better. And you get some of the best employees
Sometimes.
from situations like that. Not all the time, but
Sometimes, right.
sometimes
No,
you
but
do.
we
Say
see
this episode
sometimes.
was,
I mean, we have seen a lot where
Yeah.
our hearts break because you see, the owners
The
that
Roach Bar.
care so much and are passionate, and they hate the boss, but they hate the place, but they love the bar or they love each other.
Yeah.
Right.
This wasn't one of those ones. I think this group wasn't that they were bad people. They were so incredibly lame that I think this
One of them
you
was
guys
the
notice?
girlfriend,
No, guys, you notice this is one time that John didn't have them do cleanup. I don't think they were
noticed that.
capable. I think they were too thin. The core was too thin.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of people there, and I actually think that they were just too lame.
You're right. Yes,
But
you're
that
right.
bar was filthy.
But we've seen
She wasn't a
it
real
was,
bartender.
but we've seen filthy. Come on, we've seen the cockroach, but we've seen.
and the
But when there's
Arizona
that
bar.
many fruit flies around. There's
I mean, it had to be
stickiness and
It had to be
disgustingness
fumigated,
behind
right?
the bar.
Yeah.
Which is people in masks coming in, and you're right. That's a
And
professional
the
job.
inside of those drains was disgusting.
How no one got malaria is beyond me after seeing
Oh
what
my
we
God.
saw.
It was so weird
It
to see
was-
like the cloud underneath the place. You're like, wait, that
Yeah.
can exist, and you're just confused. But what's unacceptable to me is, besides all the cleaning, all the bars have these dirty things. What's unacceptable to me, and especially now after working here for so long, is just the upholstery on the booths, on the chairs, and things like that. You can walk by a spill and like as a bar owner would be like, well, whatever. Like people do that in bar rescue all the time, but to not take heed when your booths are ripping
I
apart.
see it all the time, Stephen. I see it in
You'd be
so many
surprised.
facets of business where
You'd be so surprised.
where business owners are like, no, I'm not putting any money into the product. They just want money to come in, money to come in, money to come in. And I think long term, it's usually a fail.
I don't think they
spend money to make money.
Right.
It's like if you have to sit down on a stool that is bursting at the seams, it's like you're not going to stay there. You're not going to go back.
By the way, and sometimes it's like, it's not just spending the money, it's actually caring and giving a crap. And, so if those things were cleaned every night, of course it can get ripped, but if things are maintained, they last and but you see where none of that has been done here. And in several shows, I want to mention, so speaking of how the staff didn't clean, this was one of the first I think we've seen.
It is.
I loved how the show always is changing formats and throwing us curves. And I still have not seen that in other reality shows of this kind. They usually follow that cookie cutter way. As I say,
Format.
Gordon Ramsay takes one bite of the meal, spits it out, literally every single one. He can't
same
even
exact
have one
thing.
and go, actually, this is actually really good, this
Yeah,
meal.
no.
But the decoration is bad and
Yeah.
the place is a mess. It's always, disgusting, can't eat it. I mean, 7 seasons of that. What I love about Bar Rescue is John going to the other bars at
That
the beginning of
was-
the show.
Yes, I was
Incredible.
just
Yeah.
gonna
I
bring
loved
that
that.
up.
Right?
It was
He went to the rival
genius.
bars and said, okay, tell me what's working here. And for him to get a handshake from John Taffer,
Yeah.
right, to say, you know what, congratulations,
He
great
was
bar.
young too, really young guy.
Well, there was
few of
two.
them, and I
Yeah,
loved
there
it.
was the two that they
I
went to.
loved it.
But it showed the neighborhood that they were in as
Yes.
well, that it is possible to be a successful business in this area that we were in, or they were in.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's remarkable. I thought it was such an interesting beat to play to
Yep.
show the other successful bars that they're in competition with, to show that you could have a thriving business.
Well, not even to just show them, but to do like a preliminary stress test, taking their customers and bringing them to that bar.
Right.
And it's just like these are your clientele. Like this is the area clientele.
But
and if you,
again, kudos to Bar
Yeah.
Rescue, to Spike, to Three Ball, and to John, or iWorks
Yeah.
and John, because I'm so grateful that they've always done that, but they're continuing to do it. I loved it.
Yeah, and when they go and they get the the recon. Well, let's before we even go there, the experts they brought in. One of our faves, Jesse Barnes.
Yeah, he's
who's
great.
She's
Fat.
awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
No,
Phil Wills
Phil.
too.
Phil
He's
Wills.
awesome too. I really want to see if I can get them on the show. I hope they're doing more episodes. So I'd like to get them in on the show, or at least call in, because they're awesome. I've always wanted to get at least to talk to them.
Hospitality expert. She's great.
Exactly. I love her.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Her bar in D.C. does $10 million worth of business a year.
Right.
So, and she knows what she's doing, because remember, she got One-Eyed Pete once again, pirate bar. But she had one-eyed Pete to really want to go
I
and
think
do
it's
better.
one-eyed Mike, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It's my fault. You're going off me for calling that. I was corrected recently.
I think it was Mike.
It's one-eyed
But I
Mike.
think there's a pirate called One-Eyed Pete, right? So is that why we were calling him
there's a
that?
lot of
I don't know. Whatever.
One-eyed Willie.
Oh yeah, One-Eyed Willie. You're right. So John brings them in, and they've been on the show a few times, and they're awesome. They're great. Remember when he got sick?
Off the
Yes.
beer taps.
Off the beer
Yeah.
taps. Brings them in. Brings in fellow people who were at the other bars. Brings them in. They can't. Jen, the bartender, can't even shake a drink.
She's not even
Oh
a
my
real bar. You
God.
can't call her a bartender. She's
Okay.
the girlfriend.
All right.
But that's management
little
failure.
internal debate with Maria and I as we were watching. I said, this is probably going to, and I should stay on topic, but I feel
Yeah,
like,
go ahead, because
so I said to her, I said, you know what? I said, she looks a little bit like Shannon Elizabeth. And she said, well, Maria reminded me, she's like, well, you said Mia looked like Jennifer Garner. And so I said,
You do.
and so I
little bit.
said, well, geez, I said, is this girl prettier than Mia? Is she the prettiest girl ever on Bar Rescue? I just want to know from Maria. Maria's like, are you crazy? Mia's so much prettier. Anyway, it was just the initial discussion. I paused the DVR. And
this
of
goes on
course,
in the undergarment.
of course, the obviously zero comparison between bartending of you versus her.
Of course.
I think she was better.
Take it outside.
No, what about the long conversations with everybody, like the 15-minute?
Oh my God, I was like out of my mind. I could not believe it.
that was
I have a
just so
question
bad.
though. So when Phil was explaining, she was kind of challenging him in a sense. She's like, well, isn't it better to pour one at a time versus however she was saying? And he was like, no, it's about the ice. So is it really, that is really the case? Like you really have
It's absolutely the case.
And so
It's
you
always-
have
It
just
only
like a
takes 2
I
minutes to kill
loved
it.
that moment where
2
I
minutes
was
to
like,
kill a drink, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, another
I
fun
loved
fact.
the moment where one of the bartenders was challenging Phil because I was like, "Ooh,
Well, she was
seriously?
cool." And he
You're
like
gonna-
totally owned the moment and was like, "No, this is the deal, and this is how we do it, and this is how I'm training you." So
She had PGS.
I have a feeling
Hang out,
she even
you know.
said, didn't she
Pretty
say, I don't know if I'll
girl-
be able to do it every
pretty
time or
girl
something?
syndrome.
Yeah.
and
Pretty
and
girl
was
syndrome.
like, "Oh, well,
3
I'm not gonna
girls
do it
here
that
who
way."
don't have it, please
Yeah.
don't ever get it. It's contagious.
No.
Pretty girl syndrome is just when
It's true.
you can't be corrected. You're
never.
in your own
I'm
world.
careful.
Okay.
I'm careful.
And
Promise
it was, and so they bring them in. I mean, it's so bad when they're pouring the drinks. Ugh. All the fruit flies, like in that bottle of Tenkane, it was
yeah.
right. It was Tenkane.
There were more bugs. I've been on the show where there have been bugs in bottles.
Well,
but
our
I've
episode,
never.
our episode,
Yes.
So when I saw that, I gagged. When I saw this was so much worse
was so
than
much
what
worse.
Maria and I dealt with.
Why? I mean, first of all, what does it take to even get, if you're going to use the toppers like that, the pour spouts like that? Oh my God, I've been away so long. But I can't.
Pour spout.
There you go. Why couldn't you get it even with the screen? You can get them with the screens. And so it was just
Or
gross. It was.
just you cover them at night.
Yes,
that's
it's
procedure.
You know what I say to that? Tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that starts happening. They can't get drinks out to anybody. And the place wasn't that packed for them not to get drinks out to
a
people.
place like that that's so empty consistently is not
Yeah.
used to any kind of high volume.
That is true. And then the promoter and Brian and Mike cannot get along. They're blaming each other for everything. And okay, here's my thing about the promoter and an owner. Now, if the promoter's not bringing in the business, you get rid of the promoter. Why was he such a big deal? And which was never really explained. And if you're going to keep
Maybe
him
he
on
put
it,
some
you
money
guys
in.
can't. That's
We don't
true.
really know.
We don't
Either
know.
put money in, or maybe works for cheap, or maybe takes a little bit of the door. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I think that when you have an owner who's just sitting at the bar all night, he's done.
Yeah.
He's out of
Which
cards.
he was doing. He had 3 beers. 3 beers at the end of the bar, just watching everything go down. Not a care in the world. But that's someone who's so gone. Because
Could be so defeated too.
Yeah,
And again, I've
yeah.
seen that. You know, we've seen it on this show.
yeah, and it's easy to get defeated, especially when you're $150,000 in debt.
Right.
That's a huge
That's a house.
debt. Yeah, that's a
in some places.
Not here.
What here?
That's not even a quarter of a house here.
Right.
I think the most telling part of that, though, was seeing him laugh when the lady, one of the guests said, there's flies in my drink,
Yeah.
and he laughed.
Yeah.
And it's so defeating. It's like, well, if you laugh it off, then you act like it doesn't bother you, and that's better than taking responsibility and taking it away and having to explain why that's the situation.
I think his actual excuse after the laughter was, "There's not that many."
it's ridiculous.
wait, no, I see
it's a
him. I
joke.
see him.
It was a
Oh,
joke.
God.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
It's not even.
And the whole thing is then it happens. John goes to them, pours them 2 shots. He says, "Drink it," and then the crowd is like, "A-hole,
Drink.
A-hole," which I thought was hysterical, by the way. And he drinks it.
Can we talk about the chasing the cameraman, please?
We'll get to that. We'll get to.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna get.
I'm dying for
Yeah.
that one. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
we'll get.
I want to know why
Ashley,
she was so
that
pissed.
gets to the stress test.
All right,
We're gonna
all right,
get to
all right.
that.
Just want to make sure you don't skip it. That's all. That's my
Oh,
only,
that's honey. That's not getting
It's my
skipped.
only-
That doesn't get skipped because that was
we
good.
actually rewound that 3 times.
I watched
I actually asked. I was like, why is she chasing him? I don't
I have
understand
reasons.
this.
I have reasons. I came up with them. I'm just waiting for my turn.
So that all happened, and then we go into. Oh, Jen cries because remember Jen starts singing, and what does John say to her? He says, "The more you talk, the more
of a fool you
look like."
Yeah.
And then she runs out. She's crying.
I was so baffled though, because she's just like, "Well, I'm not gonna do that." Do what? With the shaking and the pouring over. What?
She said, I don't think I'll be able to keep doing that.
Yeah,
keep
well,
up with that. Yeah.
The stirring. I don't know. I don't know if that stirring is for me. That's a little bit high. That's high class. This is not that.
Sorry, guys.
It's only your job.
No, exactly.
It's only your actual
job. My favorite was when she comes back. Well, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was. Whew. Oh. Okay.
But you're an
There was a
excellent
lot of-
conversationalist.
Maybe she left the room. Maybe she looked in a mirror and said, "You're a failure," to herself. And then maybe she came back. Maybe that's what she did.
I don't think that's what it was.
I would be
but
scared
okay.
shitless if Tapper was like saying that to me. If he just like looked over at me and said something that was around what he said to her, I would just go in a corner and cry because he could be scary. Because he's not just like, "Oh, listen, I'm gonna coddle you and tell you."
No.
He's like, "Let's just get to the point."
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
No.
I like that she was emotionally upset though, because if they're not upset by somebody like John Taffer telling them that,
Yeah.
it means that they don't care.
They
But the
don't
fact,
care.
the fact that she was upset means that at least she respected his opinion enough to come back in and be like,
It's not so much that she reacted, because we've seen the bratty reactions.
Oh, yeah.
F you, drive
Yeah.
off, don't see him again. It's the fact that she came back.
yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you're not called out, how are you ever going to learn? Your greatest teachers are the ones that are going to show you your weaknesses so you can grow from them.
Right.
And John Taffer does it brilliantly. It is all my best teachers were always a John Taffer type, because they showed you where you were going wrong, but also they were willing to help you and guide you to show you how you can be better. And that's what Taffer does all the time. And if whatever you think of this show, you have to appreciate that, because that's one of the best qualities anybody can ever give to somebody. And I give her props for coming back, because
Right.
we've seen a lot of them run off
Right.
and not come back, and they were the world's best bartenders.
Yeah, right, in their brains.
Yeah, the one
She
who
dates him too, though. Probably has something to do with it.
well, yeah, she dates him, but she was like, if I run away, I think it was more because I would look more like a fool.
I think for this episode, I'm glad we had her, because at least we had one
Yeah.
character who was interesting. I thought that the crew, the cast themselves were very vanilla ice cream.
Yes,
it was.
I agree with
It was the bar itself that was horrible, and what John
Yeah.
does with the bar that made the episode for me. But I'm glad she gave us something.
Yeah, because I do have one complaint about this episode, but we'll get to it later. So we've already talked about the drink. Oh, so Phil shows them how to make 3 drinks at once, but we've already talked about that. Then we go into the stress test. So, Ashley, we can talk about the stress test, and they're 18 and overnight. John, Phil, and Jesse decide they're going to do 18 and overnight because it's such a great idea.
It is.
And so they do pink wristbands for 21 and over, X's on the hands with, erasable marker, because that's cool. for 18 and under. No, under 18, under 21. Okay, under 21. They do that. Now, drinks are overfilled. A guy orders 10 Bud Lights. One guy orders 10 Bud Lights. First of all, it is illegal for that. Illegal for someone to do that. Orders 10 Bud Lights, just starts passing them out. So how do you know that's who's getting what drink? How do you know that that person's not under 21? You don't. Because the girls go into the bathroom and they're just wiping off their hands. It was so easy, you know. You get a little wipe and boom, you're done.
Little concealer.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
I didn't do that ever.
Well,
I don't even think they would have noticed if she was walking around with the drink for 45 minutes with X's on her hands.
oh, yeah.
I don't even think they were looking.
No.
Because that's right, because there was security in this bar, did not notice for 45 minutes that this girl had a drink in her hand. They stood next to her. The owner of the bar stood next to her.
She talked to him.
Talked to him, and not once did they notice. Here's my thing about that. It makes me angry because that means you really don't care about your business. Because what happened if the ABC had walked in there? Done.
By the way, but Dorinda, maybe he'd be put out of his misery.
Oh,
Then it would be over and it wouldn't be his choice.
Oh my God.
You know?
Do you think there's going to be an episode where the ABC is actually there, not for TV purposes, but they're actually there the same night the bar rescue tapes?
Well, you just probably dropped an idea for some producers.
That'd be
That's
insane.
an idea. Because I've been a part of an ABC bus, and those things are scary.
I've seen
Because
them so many
because they
times.
lock the doors, no one can leave. Everybody has to get checked
really?
out.
It's on the- yeah,
Is
it's
it like the health department in a sense when they come?
No, in the
No.
fire codes.
The fire codes, all those.
It's not
No,
like,
it's the health department. The customers can come and go.
Yeah,
the
right.
ABCs, they have to check everybody's ID
Right.
to make sure that it's a real ID, not a fake ID. Have to make sure that they're 21 and over. And
I've never seen that.
Yeah,
But someone has to call that in, right?
It's very
it has to be
intense.
because someone's suspicious, obviously. They don't
Oh,
just
yeah,
come.
yeah. Or a bar is really busy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. A bar is really busy. So they're just going to go in and check.
Do a random check.
Yeah, and they just go in and they have to do random checks. It's not like, oh, we're just, but they do have to do
Yeah.
random checks. And it does happen. But it is very scary. So, and then Brian and Mike are fighting over, oh, the girl dancing on the banquet. She's ruining the banquet. Your banquet is ruined anyway. She's just doing you a favor. Like, it's awful. Gum everywhere, splits everywhere, rips everywhere, and you're going to worry about one girl. You didn't notice anything else going on in your bar except for that one girl that is ruining your one banquet that's not ruined. And so that happens. Girl, all right, I'm going to let you talk about this because you really want to talk about this.
I just want to know, because we don't get a full storyline as to why she's so upset. It just kind of goes from 0 to 60, and we see her chasing in high heels, which I give her props for. The cameraman, who I'm guessing is a pretty big guy, and I'm wondering what was said. So my guess was she was taken aside and was asked maybe to be ID'd, or maybe like it was something where she had to leave and it pissed her the hell off, and she was like, I did sign that waiver at the beginning, I want to unsign that, and are you putting me on camera? And obviously she had to have signed something. They're not just going to start taping her, but she's flipping out, going nuts. So my whole guess was that she was getting thrown out and all her friends got to stand there, and she's like, well, fuck this, I'm not going to be on camera then, right? What could be the reason? They didn't really give us a lot.
From my perspective, it looked like there was another girl that they didn't really show a lot, but it looked like a girl who was intoxicated was being removed from the bar.
Yeah.
And I took it maybe to kind of mean that maybe this was her friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who was also clearly intoxicated and then got very upset at the fact that they were taping them being removed from the bar.
Right.
And I've been in situations before with the show where intoxicated guests get in John's face and they will just turn and start going off at a cameraman, and it's weird and it's scary and it's kind of laughable, but I mean,
like
obviously
Blair
we
Witch
discussed
Project.
the
Reality
safety issue
TV
quite
works
a bit.
because of cameras.
But the fact that she was like she literally chased him as much as she did.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Those cameras cameras are enormous. They are
They're
heavy.
huge.
I'm sure the men are just as much. I can't imagine them being
Yeah.
like 5'2". They
Like,
probably
that takes
big
some
guys.
skill.
He still kept going.
He did.
Well, I'm
Props
sure
to
his
you,
motivating feature
cameraman.
was
Props
protect
to you.
the camera.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
like-
drop this.
I was waiting
He's
for her
like,
to fall.
I can fall, but the camera's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So it was remarkable.
It was quite. I've never really seen that much of it. I mean, it went on for a good, I would say, 30 seconds.
It was awesome.
Intense,
Yeah.
as I've been calling for 3 seasons, hence the need for security
Yeah.
on that show. So, anyway.
What I feel
Especially-
like would have caused it was probably under 18 or under 21-year-olds who go on bar rescue, they sign the disclaimer, they go in the bar, then they get drinks and get drunk, and then they're on camera drunk, and they're like, my mom's gonna see me on camera drunk, what do I do?
Right.
And there you
They were
go.
lucky their faces got cut out.
I know.
Yeah, they are, because once you sign a release, you sign a release, and,
Yeah.
and that's it.
That's
Yeah.
all, folks.
Somebody's mic's buzzing. You want to hit the chords real quick, guys? It's Mia. There you go, Mia. Good job.
Mia.
Mia, quite contria.
So that was, so their stress test was quite successful.
Excellent stress test.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, clearly 18 over officially
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Crystal clear.
Do you even hear of that anymore, though? I mean, that was, at least where I'm from, it was big. Like, we had them everywhere. But that was, like, 10 years ago. So I don't know. Like, I don't hear of them ever. Maybe because I'm not looking for them, but...
I actually had a friend of mine who owned a nightclub, but it was 18 and under. They didn't allow anyone who was 21 or over in. So it actually did work because of that concept. But I don't really ever hear of 18, except if you go college-y towns.
Yeah.
College-y
do you remember that? Was it the
towns.
Palace? In Med-
Saugus.
Was that still Saugus? Oh, yeah. They had 18 plus, but they, like, were really successful. So sometimes you can be really...
I think you
Well,
have to
it was
check
such a
ID at the
big
bar.
club, though.
huge, yeah.
If anything, you check ID at the bar if you're going to do anything like that. Because at least then you're serving one drink at a time, and then you can recognize if somebody's coming up like 5 seconds later trying to get another drink, and you're like, just served you.
Yeah.
Well, those places, like I remember the Palace, they policed it pretty tough because they knew
Yeah.
everything was on the line.
Yeah.
But not at this place.
No, this is a small
No.
little bar.
So-
It's different. It was a club.
So now we go into after the stress test, John, Jesse, Phil, they go outside, they do their whole thing. There are 12 bars in a 2-block radius. They don't want the bar to be anything like the other bars. So they come up with the speakeasy concept, which I love, especially being on the coast and near the water. And have that, because that was during the time of Prohibition. And they wanted to do drinks, like the speakeasy concept with whiskey, gin, and rum, which makes sense because that's what they ran during that day. And then Jesse brings up table service, which I thought was great, because if you're going to do that kind of concept, then go with the table service, because it classes the joint up.
Absolutely.
And that's really what this bar needed, was to be classed up, because in Huntington Beach, it is a classy place.
Right,
You
the
even
affluent,
saw-
right.
Yeah, so you want to be able to have that. So they go with that. I put John has a new blazer, because he normally wears. He always has like the same
Yeah,
uniform.
That's absolutely the
And I
sheriff.
love, Taffer, if you're listening, that new blazer, the light one, the checker. I love it. It was great.
Oh,
Yeah.
for some of you older fans, Hawaii 5-0, Jack Lord always had the blue blazer, and once in a while he'd just throw it off with the light blue one. I actually own his blue blazer and his
do?
suit. Yes, I do.
Oh my god. Can you wear it?
I bought it
Can
at
you wear
auction, and it fits me perfully. Anyway,
Is it just like your
but
Batman?
Yes, I have that as well.
Oh my god, you're killing me right now. I can't even.
I love the blue blazer. I do like the curve. He did look great, but
Yeah.
I love when he wears the...
I love the blue blazer too, but it's good
Yeah.
to throw it up, and I
Sure,
really like
I
it.
said.
So
Yeah, I get it.
So fashion tidbit of Bar Rescue, really liked it, John.
Yeah. He did. Look
Okay,
great.
so now we go into teaching the classic cocktails that they were going to do. So they did the Bootitian, the P's and Q's ginger, which is for pints and quarts. Mm-hmm. There you go. And I don't remember. There was a third one, wasn't there?
That was the third one.
Do you remember? I don't remember. Maybe
He
it
did
wasn't.
3 when he was executing how to do 3 drinks quickly
Yeah.
at a time, but I
don't
thought they
think
only
he-
showcased 2.
I think you're right, because I would have remembered, because I wrote it all down. And then so he teaches them all that, and I loved what he did with them because they were very speakeasy-ish and everything. Like if you go to somewhere like Vinyl downtown, they had that kind of feel to it.
Yep. I was actually jealous because he got to do an egg white cocktail, and those are literally my favorite to make.
Really?
And I've been dying to bring those onto the show, and I was like, Phil Will's got to do one. That's great.
Awesome.
But
I'm not mad,
he did a
Phil.
phenomenal
Not mad.
job, and his drinks looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I would like his training was on point.
Have you gotten to meet him?
I have not met Phil Wills.
Is he in LA?
I don't know.
Okay.
Phil
Yeah, 'cause-
Wills, where are you?
I will always have a soft spot for him since he got sick at the bar.
No, he's great,
Awful
though. He's,
one,
I really enjoy him.
He's fast,
Yeah, he's
but
good
he's
to
also
him.
to the point. He's great.
Yeah, he's no joke.
Right.
He's like, this is what we're gonna do if you don't like it, and like when he stood up
Yes.
to the
Yes.
stood up, this if you don't like it, just get out.
He's the
Because
one who
He's
got-
so fast on his feet too.
He's the one who got sick last season,
Yes.
isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one who got sick. So, all right,
Brave man.
this is what I'm going to bring up. So now Mike, talks to the crew, but he's still not excited. He's still to me like, guys,
With the renovation?
I'm excited.
Don't you
and
think that's
stuff.
kind of him, though?
Yeah, I think that is kind of him. And then Mike and Brian are getting along. Well, I would have liked to have seen like a little sit down or something with them. They kind of just went into it real quick because I know it was about the bar this time and everything.
Because I think they were very weak, Dorinda.
Yeah, okay.
I think from a producer standpoint, it was.
They probably did something
Other
and
than
it just didn't
Shannon
work.
Elizabeth, giving us her moment. It was about the bar and the speakeasy and the revolving door. Like, let's talk about how effing cool.
That bar was
amazing.
incredible.
Like
Okay.
you had
Oh my
to, I
God.
feel like he had to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah,
he had to
and
go.
he did
He
it.
needed a big gimmick because it's way too competitive an area.
Yeah.
There's way too much money,
Yeah.
and when you have such a lame force, I'm sorry, which they were. They're very, very lame. It's not that they were necessarily bad; they were just
Yeah.
lame.
Yes.
So guess what? You needed a big giant magnet to where someone that lame couldn't fail. Where that place
Yeah.
could sit on autopilot and be okay. And I think that the way he dressed the bar, the revolving door,
Yeah.
the look of it felt to me that that's a place that 21 plus yuppies, people with some money
would go
could
there.
go and really enjoy themselves and enjoy that atmosphere. That would be something new and fun to do in the city. That's something that, again, if that promoter's good, kind of get the word out, like this is the new hip, fun place to go. You go up to that crowd. I think that he created a place that even people that lame can't screw up. Like people who would screw up a free lunch, as we say, F up a free lunch. Like this is, so to me, the star of the show of this episode
Was the bar.
Was the bar that he created.
Because I even said, I looked at you when I saw the reveal of P&Q's Auto Body. By the way, loved it. I think this might be one of the best names he's come up with for a bar. I really do. I loved it. Like when I saw it, my eyes even lit up. And it was great. And then when you go in and it's the revolving door.
Amazing.
So cool.
And I said it looked like a distinguished gentleman's living room. And with the leather and everything, and how
Speakeasy.
it's just so. I wanted to go in there and wanted to sit down, and I wanted to have a cocktail.
I did too.
And like a scotch, I do a single malt scotch, 2 stones, sit there, or even maybe a cognac, and just really enjoy myself.
And that you would be the clientele. You're
Yeah.
a film producer. You're successful. Like that's that area, and I think that bar is the magnet for it. Like
Yeah.
he couldn't do anything else because he didn't have the men. He didn't have the
Yeah.
he didn't have the horses to really
No.
do it. So it had to be about the stagecoach more than the horses.
It was like
pulling
Yeah,
it.
it's very
Boardwalk
true.
Empire. Reminded me a little bit of like modern day
Yes.
Boardwalk Empire.
Yes.
Like I could see like
Does
Al
it-
Capone like sitting there like having a cigar.
Well,
I mean,
Actually, that makes sense
Something that
because
looks
during that time era,
Yeah.
that was all prohibition.
Yeah, right.
All of that was prohibition.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned it a couple of times. My best friend from home owns a speakeasy. It was a speakeasy during prohibition. It's actually in the basement of someone's house.
oh my god.
Yeah, it's called Murphy's Suds and Sawdust now, but it was called Mary's Pub for a little bit, and in Rumson, New Jersey. Shout out to you, Heather Rassiopi now. So that place is awesome because honestly, you go into someone's basement and it's a bar.
Wow.
Yeah, and
And
it's
it's
right
open
there.
for business
It's
now?
open for
Wow,
business
that's
still now. Yeah, and they just redid it with even more of a speakeasy feel to it, and it only fits at 65 people. They put more in there, but it's like 65 people because it really was someone's basement. And it's great. In the right off the Navasink River, they would bring the barrels in, and that's how they would get all of this in. It is Rumson only has 2 bars. I don't remember what the other bar is, but Murphy's is the other one,
speakeasy.
and it's a
Very cool.
speakeasy, and it's been there 100 and something years. It's pretty awesome. Pretty
So-
awesome place.
With this bar, loved what they did with the place, but do you guys kind of like the same feeling I get is the feeling I get is like it's a damn shame, because I look at that bar and I'm like, that has, now that John's been in there, now that John's revamped it, it's got so much potential. It's an amazing place, and I know 2 years from now it's probably not gonna be what it is now, because
Trashed,
trashed. The upholstery is going to be all messed up. The place is going to be dirty because they did focus on the bar a lot this episode, but I don't feel like we got a turnover with the owners. I think they're the same people they were before.
I don't think the turnover here needs to necessarily be with the owners, just because I was keenly tuned into that relaunch, and like you were saying, it's an affluent area, and it's going to start attracting a more sophisticated clientele, and even the people that they got in there for the relaunch night were significantly older. It wasn't that 18 and older crowd, and affluent people who are a bit older are not going to be standing on the furniture, so maybe the longevity will last. And like even the filming and the footage of the bartenders behind the bar that was clearly packed when they were doing the 3 months later, the revisit, they were still packed. The bartenders had a new sense of energy. They looked like they were enjoying themselves a bit more, which I'm a glass of
I certainly
type girl.
I mean,
I hope
30%
so.
in 6 weeks is pretty amazing. 30% in 6 weeks. That's pretty. Yeah.
And by the way, do you notice that we didn't get a black screen?
No.
No.
We actually had a live epilogue where they taped it, where we got that was another
Which I
kind
love.
I actually didn't see that. That's probably why
of a twist too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never know, though. Sometimes it happens with a lot of, like, even with the restaurants with Gordon Ramsay, and people get really excited to go back because they're like, oh, well, it's going to be amazing now. And then they go, and then it's kind of like that just dies out. So it doesn't, if they're not going to be holding down this place the way they should be and running it the way they should be, it doesn't matter who's going to be going in there at that point. It really
Well, it goes back to lottery winners. 90% of lottery winners go out of their money. If it goes back to, unfortunately, tenement housing, that's free housing. It's just,
he set them up for the best possible
they usually
outcome,
wreck it. So if they haven't earned it, they do. But I think that they're set up the best possible way to succeed.
Yeah, in Bar Rescue, if I am correct, and Kevin and Mia, you can tell me this. If I am correct, Bar Rescue has the highest percentage of success as far as shows like this.
Yes.
Yes, Kitchen Nightmares.
It was something like 66%
fail.
Hotel Hell, it's also Gordon's, it's like a lot of high percentage
this
of failures.
particular show is
We have the highest rate of success.
The highest rate. It's honestly, what is it? 60% success, 40% failure, and I think I'm running it low. I think as far as all the episodes that we have done,
I think it's a little higher.
It's a little higher that they actually have been successful.
Let's hope for it, 'cause I wanna go there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I hope for these guys that it does work, and I hope they do take pride in what they do. And at least for the next year or two, they will take pride in what they. That's the one thing.
But flip it and sell it. He made a great product. Someone else could walk in there. You know, the owners of those other bars that we saw who were young and clean cut, and you could see that they were leaning forward and they were on point, could take that place and really do something.
And if they were smart, those owners would have walked in there 2 weeks after this was done and said, "Here, I'm going to give you this much for this place. Take it."
Well, but actually, you know what? During the smarter plays, you let them flop in a pan and fail. Then you walk in and take it.
Oh, that's true too.
So unfortunately,
that is very
capitalism.
It so is capitalism.
That's capitalism. But
okay. So anyway, guys, so that's the show. Now, what do we think? This season has 30 episodes.
Is that the season, or are they going to split that up?
They're splitting it.
Okay.
Yeah, but like this, like they did with last season, they split that up too. But it is one season.
Yeah,
it's not going to be 2 seasons. They'll split it, but it won't be 2 seasons. It won't be Like last season was 3. It will still stay at 4. Am I correct?
I
I think that's how they're going
It's
to do
going to
it.
be 4 and it's going to be split into 2.
Yeah, split into 2, which they did that last year too, and that would be great. I mean, and plus 30 episodes is a lot of Bar Rescue, and I love Bar Rescue, and I can watch it. I watch the marathons. I've seen some of them 6, 7 times, and I'll still watch them.
Always.
Are you going to get a Shut It Down t-shirt?
Oh,
I am.
oh, that's right. By the way, guys, have you seen this? The Shut It Down T-shirts. They're amazing.
We should get them for the show.
Yes, we should wear
Steven,
them.
order some for us. Shut it down t-shirts.
Shut it
I'm
down.
on it.
All right. Well, really, we
No,
don't.
okay, but we have 38 episodes
Yeah.
left. But the fact that these guys keep changing things up, and from what I've heard from people in the industry, that this is supposed to be the best season ever.
Oh, good. I'm excited about that because I was like, 30 episodes. How are they going to do it? Because you think that it's too much, but I'm excited for that, and I know that John won't let it get
Monotonous.
stale or monotonous.
Well, it's
yeah,
because
you're
Gordon,
right.
the thing about Gordon, he is so great, but he has I know exactly what's going to happen next, no matter
He
if
has
I'm
a
watching.
formula.
It's the same thing. The patrons come upstairs to the rooms when it's Hotel Hell, and at a certain point where they look at the rooms and they talk to the owners, and then they go back downstairs. It's the same exact thing. There's always something different and unpredictable with Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
That keeps you guessing.
Which is
So-
great. So I mean, I'm excited for it. Does anybody? Wait. When are your episodes?
I don't know when they're going to air, but I'm allowed to say that I've already filmed 2.
Oh,
And
excellent.
hopefully there's potential for more.
Will we have you make drinks again?
Absolutely.
I was in
that
that.
was
I saw them.
fun.
That was a
we
lot of
can
fun.
do that.
I would love to do that.
And maybe I'll take off my cobwebs. I'll dust off my
I know,
cobwebs.
Dorinda. We got to see
And
you
head.
go back into it.
Hi guys. I'll pop a beer for you. See guys, I can still do it.
No, this is the. Wait, you always notice
You
this.
gotta shake with a smile.
Look at the smile. That's what I think with
Thanks to
me.
your
Always
left.
with that.
I don't do any of that shaking stuff, guys. No.
All right, guys. Well, where can we find you, Miss Ashley?
I'm now at Ashley Daniels. How simple is that on Twitter?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
simple,
great.
Simple.
Miss Mia.
At Twitter, I am at tall_Mia, and Instagram, tallMia.
There you go, Mr.
At
Kevin.
Undergaro. Josh, let's roll some music and baby, you're killing us. Or did Steven go in there and mess you up?
No, Josh is gone.
Oh, and Steven,
My camera's falling. Yeah.
come on, rolling that music, baby. You're killing us. There you go.
Okay, so Kevin, you're at
At Undergaro.
At Undergaro. I'm Dorinda Barker. I am at Twitter at Lula Cherry Films, Instagram at DorindaB1. And once again, guys.
Steven, where do we find you? Wow, he's awful tonight. Steven, really? Are you even in there? Steven.
Dealing with something in here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
All right, get us out of here.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Shut it down!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.